Good afternoon and welcome back to the War Room and the playthrough of Hexasim's Quatre 1815, the last Eagles game in their Eagles of France series. And just to cover a little update on the mistakes made in the earlier games, I wanted to mention that a couple of people watching noticed that I only rolled one dice for the initiative roll and I should have rolled two, which was true, and the -3 works in favor of the French because you're rolling for low, not for high. So I don't remember what the roll was, but chances are the French should have gone first. And also, the other mistake I made is commanders can only commanders can rally 4 stacks. They can only activate stacks within their command radius equal to their command rating. So the Prince of Orange should have only been able to activate 1 stack, and Wellington could only activate 2 stacks looking at his rating, and he's the best commander in the game, so that was another mistake. Also, I wanted to mention that I saw on some of the forums that Hexasim is looking to republish the Waterloo game, which should be, they said was going to be out. Most of the information I found was fairly old, hadn't really been updated since summertime, although there were comments in the fall. And around after Thanksgiving, before Christmas time, to the effect that it would be out the end of the year, but apparently that's not happening. So look for the revised version of the Waterloo game to come out sometime this year, hopefully. It's in the works, they said, anyway. And then after Waterloo, sort of revamp, redate, update, revision gets published, then they said Elau, or Elau, however you pronounce that, is going to come out. That'll be the next game in the series. And then after that, they think Wavre will be the next one out. And I haven't heard anything beyond that. So that's all the latest hearsay and innuendo and rumor I was able to find on the forums about their games, which I really like. And you may notice in the background there a couple of unopened copies from Christmas, and that is Austerlitz and Lingy, which I will dive into here later. Now that things aren't quite so busy and I can get back to the videos, I wanted to see if we couldn't at least wrap up this first turn and maybe get that done and start on another turn here in another video soon. I hope to be having the videos out a little more regularly. Now let's dive right in to the action, and as you can see, if you remember from the last ones, the Prince of Orange and Perponcher's division on the board got beaten up pretty badly, and the French got beaten up probably more badly than they should have, but they are going to, I would say, wipe out Perponcher next turn, so I can't feel too bad for the French. The only thing left to do, because we are, let's see, time to roll for the next activation, but looking at my activation chart over here, it looks like the only ones with any activation left are a couple of the reinforcements coming on. Everybody else has already had both of their activations on the Anglo-Allied side, and everybody on the French side has also had their 2 activations. So we only have a couple, well, yeah, it won't focus in quite that tight. We only have a couple things left to do. We still haven't had an end of turn roll, so we can proceed to the roll to activate, to see who we can activate, and we'll try and activate I think it's Merlin, who is coming on as a hidden reinforcement, can't be seen yet, and he's a 9, so let's see if he activates. And he does, so we can move him, and hidden movement still, because he is going to not be within 6, and he is hidden by the terrain in the high hills at the moment. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. The closest, he's down in the valley and won't be able to see. He's on a level 1 and won't be able to see. Now he's up on a level 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll be able to see him if he gets to there. So we can move 6. So we'll go 1, 2, 3 and stop there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of sight. And this one will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and stop there out of sight. So now they're still hidden. We don't have any offensive fire. Of course, that was movement. Melee, of course, none. Cavalry retreat, none. No opportunity fire, no defensive fire, no melees to resolve, no cavalry pursuit. So now we roll for the end of turn check, and at this point it would be a 10 or less and they would be good. So it's a 10. So they're still not even the first sort of end phase is in effect. So we could go back now and roll for activation. And the last one, oh yeah, we got to flip over Merlin's activation to 2. And he's done. There are no French. So now we would roll to activate Brunswick. He's a 9. And so he activates. And so Brunswick can continue down the road, and he would get a bonus of 2 on the road. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And it would leave him there. And again, there's no of course, there's no fire, no melee, no retreats, no opportunity fire, defensive fire, melees to resolve, cavalry pursuits. So again, we'd roll for end of turn, which is kind of a moot point, just out of curiosity. No end of turn. But that would be, oh yes, and I put Brunswick over to 2 activations. So he's finished his second activation. And now the next thing would be to end of turn phase. So you could do a strategic move now, which is anybody that wasn't able to move because the turn was ending would be able to get in one move. And then the route move. So now everybody that has a route marker on him has to continue to route back towards their sort of home base, back towards their edge of the board, which for the Anglo-Allied is off the top left, and for the French is off to the bottom right here of the map. So we'll route the French back first, just because we're on that side. So they'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we don't want to go through anybody, so whoop, these guys will go back 1, 2, 3 towards their corner here, Faubourg. Now the Anglo-Allied army route the opposite way up the highway, or up the turnpike, or whatever they call them in Europe. So they would proceed back 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So they didn't make out too badly, but the Prince of Orange is going to be in a lot of trouble next turn unless he gets to go first. Check victory conditions. There's nothing at the moment. Remove the activation markers. So we'll take all the activation markers off of my table over here. We'll remove all these for next turn. We'll just stack them up there, so they'll be handy. And we can take off probably the fired 3 movement points, plus 3 movement points that it costs you when you move after having fired. We can take those off. And what else have we got for markers in here under orange and purple and share? Yeah, there's another fired marker there. So we'll clean that all up. Put them back up on here. And I think that gets us ready for the next phase. Well, the next turn, actually. That's the end of turn 1. Check for demoralization. Nobody's lost that many casualties yet that the brigades, or the divisions I should say, become demoralized when they've lost half their strength or more. And so far, even Perponcher hasn't lost a unit, so there's no danger of demoralization. So that's basically it for the first turn. And we still have a lot of reinforcements to come on, and a lot of action coming up here in turn 2, although I don't quite see. It seems to me that the French are going to be pretty badly outnumbered once all of the Anglo-Allies get on here. And mostly what they need to do is they need to get up and of course take this crossroad area around Quatre and this road to Namur, to block that if possible, to prevent basically Wellington's army from joining up with the Prussians, who are off to the this general direction, being beaten up by Napoleon's main army. So if the French can do that, they'll be doing pretty good, because it looks to me like they're pretty badly outnumbered. So anyway, as you saw in the background, I had the other 2 games in the series for Christmas presents, and I'm going to do just a quick unboxing run through of them here shortly for the fun of it. And that may even be the next thing I get out before I get into turn 2. I've been away from this so long, I should probably review the rules again before I jump into turn 2, but I wanted to clean this up before I totally forgot how to play, or the cat got in here and wiped it out. But so far, I've been able to keep him out of the war room, so that's been good. And there's probably some other games I have that I may do unboxing of and just a quick review of. But again, so far I really like this game, and I hope to get more turns in here and get them posted in a little more timely manner. I got distracted during the holidays. But thanks again for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I think I'll wrap this here, and appreciate your watching the videos on the War Room. And remember, no fighting in the War Room, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.